All right, everybody, welcome back. It is Thursday, the 26th of August, 2021. Tough down day in the P&L, but just as a result of improper trading, just stupid chases along the way. I'll get into that a little bit more, obviously, later on as we get into the specific tickers. But first, we take care of some housekeeping, talking about SPY. A little down day today. Had some sell-off in the pre-market and some more sell-off in market hours coming out. I don't know if there was news or something market-wide that caused that. I thought we were going to get this type of rollover day yesterday, but obviously it came today. Market internals on the day. NASDAQ still chugging in that low dollar volume, $169 billion volume, nice see, $232 billion, and OTC markets just under $2 billion at $1.8 billion volume. Three different trades, three different tickers that I was in that in reality, I'm going to make this introduction a little bit longer too because I want to talk about some more broader subjects as well that I want to go over, but I really don't think I shouldn't have been in these tickers. It's just the way in which I traded them. I started off the morning just in a super bad mentality of how I was looking at the market and what I was feeding off of essentially when I'm looking at these lights. And that's so huge for me in everything I do when it comes to trading because I'm really forced to. It's pretty much as soon as I wake up, this is everything I'm thinking about, and I go right into it. And if I'm not starting off on a good foot, then everything just tumbles down from there, right? If the base isn't solid, then how do you expect the pyramid to grow further up from there? So it was funny to me that I'm looking back in the chat and not seeing a lot of the millionaire red names in the chat talking a lot, or I didn't see a lot of their posts in there, which I was surprised to think because I'm thinking, man, there's just so much opportunity out there. I would have thought that the chat would have been so full and I would have been scrolling through so much to find what they were all talking about and go through all the lessons they were talking about today. But the reality is there again that this is still summer months and they're taking their time off and they're not getting in if it's not an A+ setup, and they're taking their mental capital with them and being able to save that for a later date, or at least not just spending it on whatever they see right now, which is, I get into that problem many times, but I don't believe it's an issue for me at this point. I still think I'm not YOLOing anything. I'm not going crazy in regards to just total speculation. And I did a bit of chasing today. I'll 100% admit that, but it's just about totally experimenting, and as my monthly goal is just being loose and being free and understanding, okay, wow, I totally botched this trade. I totally botched today in essence too. But coming back and understanding that today was such an easy day and I totally felt the natural inclination to, after I was done trading the morning session, to just curl up in a ball and just start crying and say, woe is me. This day trading is totally sucky. The market's out to get me. Of course, everybody else is making money except me, right? I'm picking all losers. My win rate is so low. But the truth of the matter is, I could have said that about the first 3 weeks of August, but this week has been a nice turnaround week. We've had some awesome dip and rips this week. Tuesday I missed BPTH was that one, or I got screwed out of what that one was, but otherwise, it's been 3 days of pretty nice. It's almost kind of turning around this month for what it's been. And today was just an off day for me. And I hold myself accountable to understanding that though I don't want to continue these types of days like today was, I also understand the mental side of it that learning from other podcasts today too. And they actually reaffirmed this belief and made me want to say this today too, just for myself of, man, you've got to have that positivity always, that the P&L can't define who you are as a person each and every single day, because I didn't sign up to do this for an eternal mood swing every single day just based upon whether my screen was red or green on the day. I did not sign up for it to do that. And I know that viewing who I want to be as a professional trader in years to come, I don't see myself as like, oh, well, I can't go out with friends tonight because I was just so sad that I had a big loss that day. Or, oh, I'm going out partying every single day or on that day that I was green that day. That's totally not how I view myself. But yet I still do that a little bit. I feel myself drifting that way still at this point too. And the sooner I can get to the extent of getting away from that and not letting the P&L define me, I know the greater opportunity it's going to have for my own mental health in a sense too. Piggybacking off of that as well, and what this was the VWAP trader JJ Confessions of a Market Maker podcast as well, that this was mentioned on, that yes, you have to have that mentality that you can't just completely destroy yourself every single day you have a down day, but then also you have to live in reality and say, okay, I can't keep losing $100 every single day, day after day after day, month after month after month. It's tough for me to look at it too and say, oh man, I've had 10 rough days in a month, or August has been a rough month for me. Maybe I should just hang it up. I don't have those thoughts whatsoever, but also understanding the perspective of, today's just one day. This isn't because I had 3 losses today or because tomorrow I have 3 wins. That doesn't make me the best trader. Oh, now I'm on the track to success, or because today, oh, now I'm just doomed to fail. I'm just doomed to do this over and over again. It's understanding that it's such a balance between both sides, that there needs to be that positivity aspect in every single day through all of the losses, through all of the wins, but there also has to be that reality too of, hey, even if I make a good win sometimes that I lucked out on, admitting that I got really lucky on that win, or even if I take a loss, where the heck did that overhead come from, or where did that support come from on that? The reason I took that loss. Whereas I can go into that loss and define every single characteristic I was looking at, and this is the reason I lost. And the same thing going into a win of saying, okay, these are the reasons that I succeeded, doing all the same things in that way too. And that goes into my next point of, on these types of losing days, I always, of course, find myself putting in more work and going in for the mission debrief to say, okay, what did I do wrong? Let's break everything down. What happened at this point? How did I wake up? What did I eat? Every single factor of it, because I don't want to repeat this again. But it pains me to see that, man, I don't want the days that I quote unquote fail, or the market has me red, to be the days where I'm putting in so much more work. What does that say to the days that I win? Because obviously if I ever get to the point, when I get to the point where winning starts to become the routine, does my work all of a sudden just die off? And I know with 100% certainty that I've done that in the past, where, sweet, I made my $100 in the morning on my one trade, and then I just pretty much doze off and take the rest of the morning off. In the afternoon, oh, I could watch some trading podcasts or just trading videos, whatever, but nah, I'll watch some other, whatever garbage that I have on my phone at that time. This was the great realization too, that I've strayed away from since I've started trading, that even on the winning days and even on the losing days, the work still has to be there. It shouldn't just be that, oh, because I don't want to lose and I took a losing day, I'm going to do work so I don't have to do that again. No, even on the winning days, I'm going to put in twice as much more work, the same amount of work, the continual grind in it, because I'm now preparing for days like today that I don't want to have. It's not just after the fact that I have it again, a day like today or a similar day of just a total mental, not a breakdown, but just a shut off of what I know I can be. But it's just a long process, and that was a lot that I just wanted to get off my chest, and I think I got everything there. I was just really not holding myself accountable to my rules that I have established and outlined. I've gone so far away from, I should be holding myself now to reading my rules every morning, because I've not done that in a long time. But today too, wasn't establishing trade parameters before I was entering the trade. Rule number 5, I wasn't entering only when there's substance to the trade, which is rule number 6. I wasn't choosing curiosity over anxiety, rule number 8. It's just all going down the list of, I'm not holding myself accountable to those rules that provide the discipline. They provide the track to success if I hold myself accountable to them over time, not just for one day that, oh, I read the rules and I did it for that one trade. It's got to be a continuous process every single day, through every single win and through every single loss. And today was just an awesome reminder of that. So that is a long-winded intro. Go ahead and get into the tickers for the trades. GSMG was my third trade. I felt it in my bones and knew from the get-go that this wasn't going to be an awesome dip and rip. And Bowen even mentioned it too. He said, this is such a sketchy company. I think Chris even said it too. The news wasn't the greatest on it, which I don't even really care about the news. The news doesn't matter. It's just all about the price action to me, minus any of the fundamentals of, hey, they've also got a 424B5 out from this morning as well too, factoring all those different things in. Float on this one as well. This is, like Bowen said, this is just a sketchy Chinese broadcasting company, float of 20 million. So I knew that dip and rips have been working well this week, and pretty much it just became, whatever ticker was nice and had volume, just wait for that dip around the 945 area and just buy it, look for any consolidation, which I didn't do. And I knew it and felt it in my bones, prepared well to say, okay, I'm not going to chase this thing anywhere around the first 5 minutes, which is what these things do. They just chop around, nice toppy or wiki action at least. Had a nice dump, and now I'm thinking, okay, sweet, it could produce that dip and rip that we're looking for here. Of course, I trade this on the tick volume chart where each of these ticks is 100 trades instead. I fell into a little bit of the conspiracy that, okay, we're developing a little consolidation area here. I get in with a little size. This was like a $200 or 200 share position size at this point, thinking, okay, it could be basing around this pre-market consolidation area. That's not the greatest dip. It's certainly not anything huge to attract shorts in, may attract a few shorts in. But I certainly want to protect myself again if it starts to reclaim VWAP and then push to high a day where it may start moving so quickly that there is no time for an entry. So that's the reason for this trade entry at that point. Of course, then I cut at that market hours low of day, as it still has the opportunity to go lower because we're still well beyond. We got 10 minutes till that 945 time frame. Then it puts in this bottom here, which is, I knew it from that point as well too. This is not a consolidation. This is just a quick dip in and out. Even on a 1 minute, this isn't, it looks a little bit better here as a double bottom with these two candles, but it was just a pure sell-off that found a bottom there and just quickly rose off. It wasn't as if there was lots of bidders and sellers stepping in at this point saying, okay, this is our time of inflection, and this is our area of inflection, and this is where we're going to find a new trend or completely dump off and fade for the rest of the day. But again, I fell into the mentality of, I'll just protect itself because price action is moving so well at this point. It's coming back up to these past levels, above where I exited initially. Took too big of a business size, 1,000 shares in my other margin account that was really way oversized for what that trade was, in a sense. The idea for this trade was a facade dip and rip. I was really saying, oh, it's a dip and rip, but in reality, there was no dip put in. This was a small dip and back up again, a little bounce, but the consolidation had been put in. The true trade on this one, of course, I had to cut as it broke that low day. Sticking to my trade plans and even though they were crappy trade plans, I can live with that and say, okay, now we're just adjusting the trade plans and understanding, look at the better trade option that was 100% there in this double bottom. And I totally recognized that, saw it even around this consolidation point and thought, okay, this little Willy Wonka W, maybe it pulls back down and just fades the rest of the day and doesn't even offer an opportunity. But as it's continuing to hold this consolidation level from this double bottom area, hard for me to say, other than if I'm watching that tape super, super close, we get the bounce here and trying to find an entry at this point, then you've got so much leverage, in a sense, is kind of the word I say. Better risk reward opportunity to risk this low and still just play around. Okay, you've got total freedom to let this thing run, maybe even add shares at this consolidation area and let it run to a nice 10%, just right there. Total example of what I've been seeing on these dip and rips, or this kind of double bottom dip and rip, a little bit later than that 945 time frame, to say, okay, you're looking for your 10%, and then you just get out, nail and bail. That's exactly what this one was today. And that was the trade plan I missed. I was just so blinded by trying to force a dip and rip, in a sense, or thinking I was trading a dip and rip when I knew and felt it that I really wasn't. So that was GSMG. That was in total, that was $70, $80 loss on that one between those two, with a big loss, not a huge crazy size position red number, but obviously took too big of a position size for what that trade was. I should have had such a smaller size, but fell into the trap too because, I'm trading in my margin account. I don't have any cash limits. It's kind of just wasting a day trade if I don't have a big position size. Man, I should take 1,000 shares at this point, right? And that's the lie I fell into on that one. Of course, learned my lesson through it. BLUW was another one that I had to learn my lesson through. So no reported news catalyst that I see here through scans on this one. It is apparently a shell company, American, but a float of 4.8 million. No reported short interest that I see. Huge percentage move to the upside, coming from close of 10 yesterday to peaking at 34.4. Over 100%, way over 100%, 300% obviously, from 10 to 34. Never really looked at this as a short. I think I even just for funsies checked trade zero as for borrow fees on this one. They couldn't find any shares to short. So then I got into the chasing mentality as it's pulling back here a little bit from that initial crazy peak and then putting in more green. VWAP is rising. Then I'm thinking, oh, this thing could have so much more room. Not understanding that it's already up 3%, 300%. How much more could it freaking go? And why are you chasing it? There is no substance to that trade, and that's what I got to get away from in my trading realm, right? So stupidly took 10 shares there at that point, chasing, and immediately had to take my licks and just sell. Also stupidly way below my entry, even though it had more room to the upside, and I could have got away with that scotch-free on that error that I made. Learning lessons. Double topish here. Had a little bit of a hesitation to break this VWAP or fail at this first attempt. Broke a little bit at a second attempt, but then bought back up. But this is a 10% move here, even getting short. And my finger was on the trigger, or not my finger was on the trigger, but I was totally ready in there to say, man, this could be another shorting opportunity here if it's failing price action, failing VWAP at this point. And you can nail a 10% at 24. This would have been, 20. Yeah, this is well beyond 10%. We can 29 all the way to 25. Yeah, you're absolutely covering a 10% profit here at this point. Didn't even come close to testing high a day once again. And this thing just died. It still ended up down 9% on the day from the previous trading day close. Absolutely ludicrous how much downside this thing had in today. So many halts along the way too. I think one even here. Nope. Just sprinkled out. I think there's one there. Yeah. Crazy to see. And these are the ones that just sometimes bypass a screener that you may not end up looking at the end of the day or find if you're swing trading or if you're not looking at the markets intradaily or super hard. But just if this was reversed to the upside, right? Everybody and their grandma would be talking about it. But just because it was a one and done type of deal that you really had to profit on this from today compared to as if it started spiking super high the other way. And this was now a 600% mover. Now everybody and their grandma could be talking about it still because there's still opportunity for 600% down move to the short side or still potential to the upside if it was going to continue crazy that way too. But certainly opportunity there if you're ready and willing. And man, I was even at this point too thinking, okay, it's still totally dying off. It's got plenty more room to go, even if I was just looking for a 10% move. But that would have been 100% chasing if I was to get short anywhere around here. And it still certainly could have bought up a little bit to VWAP and then scared me out, canceled out my nice trade thesis on this that it would fade because it's just a terrible, sketchy stock. But man, that was a quick and immediate total fade, a huge percentage move on that. RGC was my third and final trade. Of course, this is the crazy former recent runner coming off of this crazy squeeze as of yesterday. Looking for today would have been a great day as a short because you're looking off of a little sell off from the peak yesterday and weak pre-market today. Initially, I was looking at this squeeze here that I actually took a few shares here at this point. Trying to place another squeeze, chasing once again. Hadn't learned my lesson from BLUW, but still at this point, volume was coming in, and I was thinking, man, this thing has shown in the past that if it somehow starts reclaiming and showing strength, get long because it could just squeeze crazy hard. Obviously reflected in that day there, after hours on Tuesday, that was. Yeah, the other day as well. So just, I was ready. I didn't take huge position size on it. I think it literally was 2 or 4 shares. I think I established 2 shares at 40, and then as it was continuing to go, man, I was like, I got to get more. So I got 2 more whole shares, and then got immediately screwed out as it continued to dump, broke VWAP, broke, I think, 30. I must have set my stop at 39 on that initial trade. Took another stupid loss and just started off the morning. So terrible once again. I don't know if I was able to recover from those. I knew what I did wrong and understood that, but still just fell into that, oh, woe is me. Oh, I'm taking stupid trades. Oh, stupid trader. Oh, blah, 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 whatever. And it was stupid. Then I fell into the trap again. We're getting to literal midday, 12:30 here. that it's still curling. It's coming back green on the intraday. We're still a ways from green in total, but now coming in with hard volume. It's pressing 39, coming up on 40, skirts through 40, and I had to buy it. I knew, well, again, I haven't traded midday in months, I feel like, and just got totally tricked out again once on this one. Bought pretty much at the spike and then had to sit through 8 consecutive red candles in a row until it stopped me out at 38. This was again like 2 shares, maybe 3 or 4 shares. Not a huge crazy position size, but just total chasing once again, and playing a little bit on that FOMO, thinking, oh man, it's gonna go again. I can't not be in it, blah blah blah, all these things. But in reality, I could have totally not been in it. I would have been fine if this thing spiked again because I didn't see the trade beforehand. I didn't see this, identify the trade opportunity from this curling, from the continual pushing higher, from the lower highs, from the trade opportunity here, the rising VWAP coming in volume. Even though it was directly midday, there was a little bit of a perk here, and of course it faded the rest of the day. That trade didn't follow through, but that would have been the better trade that I can't slap myself on the wrist for now in this sense, looking in hindsight, versus compared to what I did midday and just totally speculating, chasing, and taking the losses for that. But I'm learning the lessons from it. Slowly but surely, I'm learning the lessons that I got to get out of this chasing mentality, 100%. AMC, other mover. Again, this was another shorting one opportunity that you're looking at the daily thinking, wow, that's a lot of trades. You're looking at the daily thinking we're getting this curl here. We kind of had a little bit, it wasn't a total red day yesterday, but it appears as a red candle, or it must have actually been a red day. Yeah, it did close lower than it opened, but still pretty volatile. Not like it was dead in a sense, kind of double top-ish area here. Then you get that fade into the close, weak pre-market here. If you're seeing it around this level where it's still hovering, trade thesis there for the short side is really only risking an insane crazy short squeeze. That would be a super low possibility compared to what's probably considered a normal flow of trading, in which this thing's got to take a little bit of a sell-off at least. Even though it's still a memer, even though it is AMC, it's got to follow some amount of guidelines of normal human emotion. And there was a little bit of sell-off here. Again, this wasn't a crazy volatile percentage mover, but the trend plays on these one are such a key to me that I want to be focused on too, because I know that I'm taking bigger size and growing the account in the future, I need to be in these incredibly liquid movers that offer the percentage opportunity as they come out, because that's really all you can trade with big size to get those big returns in a sense. So that was a learning one today. Of course, this little dip here, double bottomish, if you want to call it that, with that spike perk, and then just pull back, blah, 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 whatever. SPRT, jeez, absolutely ludicrous. This was one. AMC, actually, I'll mention as well to doing the shares per trade. AMC was 150 shares per trade today compared to 126 average shares per trade yesterday, which is pretty much the same dollar volume between each of these days since we're factoring in where it traded as of today. And again, not the most crazy volatile, but certainly, of course, since it's a memer, then the opportunity can really come back at any point, maybe. We'll see. SPRT, golly, this one was just ludicrous. For the shares per trade on this one, 206 average shares per trade, which is just under like $4,000 position size per trade compared to yesterday, which was an average of 190 shares per trade, which is under around 3,000 per trade. So we're jumping pretty big size per trade on the dollar volume, at least. And today, what was it shooting? $1.6 billion volume, just under 500,000 trades on the day, and still looking strong here in the after hours. I could just feel this one in my bones as it was curling here. Take out this, so it looks a little cleaner. As it's just coming here, we're getting a little fade off in the morning, but the afternoon session, as we get into midday, it's touching VWAP, fails here, but puts in a higher low, still curling, rejecting higher price action at VWAP, just dumping lower, but still failing to dump, just kind of wedging at this point, as you can see here. And then you just get that big spike, big reject, but failure to break VWAP, and then just continual chop to the upside. Takes a lot more tolerance and longer time frames in a sense to trade this one, because they require that from the get-go from how they move. But trading this on a longer time scale, man, huge opportunity. And still 41% at the close, and still opportunity to come in to touch 24 in the after hours here. Absolutely ludicrous. I didn't think it had the legs for how far it is already in the run-up, but certainly she's got some legs, I tell you that. That was SPRT. OTC movers, TPTW was the new spiker from yesterday. I had TPTW and OZSC literally on my watches, ready to trade for today. Pretty much looking for this morning spike, similar to BRBL that I was looking for yesterday. But I completely forgot about it because I was just so captivated and maybe thrown off a little bit by the chasing losses that I took, but just totally forgot to bring these up on my charts and just wasn't reminded of them. So I looked at them later, just in the afternoon session. TPTW, awesome morning spike. A little bit of a gap here in the first trading minute, but just huge spike. This is, what's this percentage? 424 math. Decent percentage. That's what that is. Right away in the morning. Maybe you sell here, but still opportunity to the upside. Squeezing out a few more shorts. And then just kind of fading off, just chopping around. Fade down the whole rest of the day. Could be a nice panic. Dip by sometime soon if it wants to. Gosh, it's just so tough because we need to have some pure panic. We haven't had pure, beautiful panic since DPLS. It's the most recent runner that I remember was a pure, nice opportunity at a dip buy. But we need those dip buyers back. OZSC, similar thing. Didn't break the high of day or close yesterday level. Had perk out of the open, but then selling off quick to shake out the week longs. But still held this kind of 75-ish area. Another perk to the upside, then pull back, holding VWAP, still holding VWAP, just trending nicely. This was another breakout trade that I was identifying that I didn't take just because I was kind of shutting myself down at this point, saying I really don't want to be forcing myself into more trades and just taking more stupid losses at this point. But totally identifying, hey, we got an intraday breakout opportunity at this 8.5-ish level here, and you got it perfect. That's pretty much perfect 10% from 8.5 to high of day at 9.3 from that breakout level. Even though, yeah, you could totally consider this so many different entry point opportunities to the long side here, even before this breakout. But perfect opportunity on that one. And then just faded again. Sell off here, fade the rest of the day. Noise. Maybe could get a little bit more panic, but it's tough with how much volume was there today. I don't think there's enough sellers left in this one to shove it super hard to the downside, especially with how hard it was today. I doubt it. NFTs also moving. TCAT coming in for another third day, at least in the morning. Just spiking hard. Smoking those shorts. Halton, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Did I say 4 times? 3 times. Just huge volatility. Nice volume on the day as well. DLPN. Similar thing coming in with this third day. Kind of move. A little bit of a lag. I would say TCAT is the mother of all these. DLPN following. Same thing, similar with OCG. Not the most voluminous or percentage-wise opportunity, but in the NFT sector, following a little bit of TCAT. VRPX had a news catalyst at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Didn't even see it. Probably still chasing BLUW like an idiot. Had a news spike at 9, held VWAP pretty well, not bringing in a lot of crazy volume, but then just immediate spike after that. In this trade, I think we can file in the sector of, okay, looking at the intradaily from yesterday, that was the trade opportunity of an intradaily style-ish trade. You're looking for the perk in the morning, nail and bail, and you're done for any more thinking process on that one. But then they come out with news again, coming off of a perfect bottomish area here. Now we're in an uptrend, and then they bring out good news catalyst, which was manufacturing and supply agreement, whatever crap. But we're coming back into this curl to the upside. So now we're kind of building the other side of this cup pattern here from the parabolic days on 17th and 18th. Decent opportunity, not insane. Pretty nice percentage move actually to the upside that could have capitalized on immediately. Even if you miss this move here, this consolidation opportunity that it's put in a little double bottomish local area in these two candles here that could base a scalpish trade off of to the upside on that one. Good opportunity. And then last one, ADTX, that I just wanted to mention as well. Was hoping for this one as a third day style of play. Coming off of the nice day from Wednesday, sold off in the close, held decently today compared to where it normally is trading. Then they just came out with an offering and totally ruined it. I was kind of excited to see if this one would hold up for a third day style of squeezy play. This one a low float as well too. Yeah, and it's American Biotech, 10 million float, especially on a Friday as the third day with shorts totally not want to hold over the weekend. It could have gotten a pretty nice squeeze on that Friday, but just wasn't in the bag for today. Or it wasn't in the bag because I stupidly offered an offering. That was all I had. Again, from the introduction, these are great learning lessons, and each day is a stepping block for the path of what my trading career is, and I'm still excited every single day to find new opportunities and understand more about myself. I've found out more about myself in this past year of trading than I really ever have in my entire life, even through my entire career of baseball. Every psychologist reading. I mean, these screens are just a total awesome palm reader and exposer of the truth underlying, and force you to deal in reality and truth, and they either make you or they either break you is the best way to put it against you. So guys, I thank you so much for watching. I thank you for listening to my babbling, and I will catch you guys on the next one.